en ce moment, il est quelle heure? Il est 2h30 du matin. Et j'ai rien à faire. En fait, j'ai dit que j'ai rien à faire, comme s'il fallait pas que j'aille dormir. Bref. Et j'ai décidé qu'on allait visionner des histoires d'horreur ensemble. Parce que j'ai peur. Moi, j'ai facilement peur. Mais pour de vrai, c'est des histoires d'horreur comme animées. C'est pas avec des vraies personnes et tout. Mais bref, on sait jamais. J'ai même mis des lumières rouges pour mettre ambiance un peu Halloween. Le vibe, quoi. Ok, j'arrête de dire ça. Et ben, c'est ça, là. C'est l'histoire d'horreur animée. Puis, I guess, ça va faire peur. On sait jamais. Allons-y, allons-y.
My name's Hannah. When I was 16 and living in Texas, I was obsessed with horror stories. I couldn't get enough of them. Horror movies, books, reading Reddit forums, and watching true crime on YouTube. Never in my wildest dreams did I think that one day I'd be the main character in my own true life horror story. The story I'm about to tell you unfolded on a summer's day in my hometown. My parents would go out to work, and I'd hang at the house, enjoying my summer vacation. Sometimes I'd invite friends over, or we'd go chill at the mall. Today, though, everyone was busy or out of town with their family. I didn't mind spending the day alone.
Dans ces histoires comme ça, c'est toujours par hasard. Personne n'est là. C'est toujours, ah, les parents sont partis. Tout le monde est sorti de la ville, tout le monde fait d'autres activités, puis toi t'es tout seul. C'est toujours comme ça dans ces histoires-là.
Aircon in the house was better than the Texas heat anyway. It was approaching lunchtime, and I was getting hungry, so I decided to order from DoorDash. My parents absolutely hated DoorDash and food ordering apps. They just read some weird story online about creeps delivering food. But like, who even believes those? Millions of people use DoorDash every day with no problem. So, I get on the app and ordered from Chick-fil-A, my guilty pleasure. At this point, everything seemed normal. I placed the order and was notified, your driver, Eddie, is on his way. I don't really like answering the door to delivery guys, so I made a specific request to leave the food on the doorstep. If you've never used DoorDash before, let me tell you, that's a totally normal request. The food delivery person usually comes up to the door, leaves the food at the door, and then updates the app to say that the food has been delivered. Sometimes they might knock on the door or ring the doorbell, just to make sure that you know. But either way...
Bro, ça m'énerve tellement. Sur les applications comme ça, DoorDash, Eat, t'écris déposer la nourriture devant la porte. Puis je pense qu'il y a même une option aussi, comme t'es pas obligé de sonner, genre. Pourquoi tu sonnes? Je t'ai dit de pas sonner. Pourquoi tu sonnes? Là, tu viens d'alerter toute ma famille que j'ai commandé de ma nourriture. Alors que tout ce que j'avais à faire, c'est ouvrir la porte tout doucement, prendre ma nourriture, aller en haut manger. Là, tu sonnes. Là, tout le monde dit c'est qui, c'est qui. Là, tout le monde me voit avec un sac brun. Là. Juste pour ça, je vais descendre ton pourboire.
So as soon as we find out who you are, trust you will be dealt with. Period.
It's a pretty normal thing to do. Eventually, I got a notification on my phone that Eddie was on his way, and then another saying that he was pulling into my street. Usually, this would mean I'd hear a soft thud of my food being dropped on the porch, and then my phone would beep to let me know that the delivery was made. But not today. I heard the car door open and close, footsteps as Eddie approached the house, and then nothing. Weird. How long does it take for this guy to drop off my food? I was upstairs in my room, so I went to the window and peeked out. I could see his car on the street, so I knew he hadn't left yet. I checked my phone. He definitely hadn't updated the app to say that the delivery was made, so I assumed he was still on my porch. And then I saw him. He walked back out onto the driveway and looked right up at my bedroom window. He was tall, scruffy, a bit unkempt looking, but there was something in his eyes that freaked me out.
Dans ce genre d'histoire-là, toujours quand c'est une histoire, oh, c'est une jeune fille qui reste à la maison tout seule, toujours elle se fait attaquer par un homme grand, mince. Toujours.
It was so dark, like he had no irises, just big black pupils.
Girl.
I quickly moved away from the window. Just hurry up, dude, and leave. Next, I heard 3 loud, slow knocks on the front door. What the actual was going on? I stood in silence in my bedroom, afraid to move. Eddie knocked again, but this time louder, more forceful. I called down that he could just leave the food on the porch and I'd come get it.
Je pense pas qu'il est venu
The
pour
knocking
déposer la
continued,
nourriture.
louder, more forceful. This was when I realized he wasn't just knocking now. He was kicking the door. Was he trying to get in? I moved towards the top landing of my house, where I had a good view of the door, and called down again. Is there a problem with my order? You could just leave it on the doorstep. It's fine, really. I tried to keep my voice steady, but inside I was shaking. Hannah, came Eddie's voice. Let's not play games. Open the door. I don't know how else to explain it, but his voice wasn't like a normal human voice.
Girl.
It was the voice of a madman. The type of voice you heard in horror movies like Hannibal or The Shining.
Dans ce temps-là, la chose à faire, c'est de, en fait, tout simplement prendre ta Bible. Puis là, genre, pas comme Psaume 23. Puis là, genre, l'Éternel est mon berger. Je ne manquerai de rien. Il me fait reposer dans de verts pâturages. Il me dirige près des eaux paisibles. Comme tu vas lire. Il y a une partie qui dit: quand je marche dans la vallée de l'ombre et de la mort, je ne crains aucun mal, car tu es avec moi. Comme ça, c'est juste un petit détail, un petit truc que tu peux utiliser comme la prochaine fois que ça arrive. Je vois que t'es un peu gaga. Donc, bon.
Dude was going to kill me, I just knew it.
Bon, comment il frappe la
No
porte?
sooner had the thought passed my mind when the door broke open.
What?
There, at the bottom of the...
Ta porte, elle est faite en carton, genre? Comment tu me dis qu'un homme donne des coups de pied sur ta porte d'entrée? C'est pas une porte de chambre, genre, parce que parfois c'est une porte en bois, là. Et le bail se casse en deux, genre. What's going on?
Stairs stood Eddie, his tall figure silhouetted in the Texas sun.
Bruh.
With Eddie in the house, my brain ceased to function, and my body took over. I ran into the nearest room, my parents' bedroom, and barricaded myself in. Downstairs, I could hear the muffled sounds of Eddie ransacking the house. Then, nothing.
Toujours comme ça.
I thought maybe he'd left. Maybe he'd just robbed the place, but then, the door handle to my parents' bedroom began to jiggle. Eddie's voice, eerily calm, sent shivers down my spine. Hannah.
Ok, mais pendant tout ce temps-là, elle a pas appelé la police. T'as littéralement ton téléphone dans tes mains. Je sais que t'étais sur l'application DoorDash à chaque seconde pour voir était où ton livreur. Pendant tout ce temps-là, 911, ça te tentait pas, genre, juste 911. T'es pas obligé de parler, tu peux juste appeler, puis rien dire, puis ils vont quand même localiser ton appel. Ils vont venir.
Calling the police. Hello? Yes, this video.
Girl.
You didn't leave me a tip, but such a pretty young thing like you can surely find a way to pay me back. The horror of the situation truly hit me. This man
Elle a pas laissé de signe.
here
En fait, je la comprends là, dans cette économie-là, mais en tout cas,
to violate
je
me.
suis pas commencé à faire
A
des
surge of
controversées sur le
adrenaline
type.
pushed me into action. I pushed open my dad's closet, where he keeps his golf clubs, and hid myself beside the door. The next few seconds seemed to stretch into hours. Eddie managed to use a knife from the kitchen to jimmy open the door. As he stepped in,
Qui
I
connaît la maison,
swung the
genre. Il a
golf
trouvé
club with
il a
all my
trouvé la
might,
cuisine.
catching him off guard. There was the
Girl.
sound of something crunching, and then Eddie screamed, grabbing at the back of his head. Without wasting a second, I bolted from the room and ran to a neighbor across the street.
Girl.
Thank God they were home, and I was able to call 911. The cops arrived pretty quickly, but still, Eddie had vanished before they got there. The police took the matter very seriously, but I heard from my parents that DoorDash denied having an Eddie on file.
Girl.
It turns out they were lying to us, though, and lying to the police, because weeks later, we read a news article about a DoorDash delivery guy named Eddie. who brutally attacked a group of teenage girls having a
What?
slumber party. That could have been me. Today, years later, I still deal with the trauma from that event. I'm scared to be home alone and decided to get a license to conceal and carry a weapon. I know that my story is rare. DoorDash is probably safe for the most part, but just remember, creeps and weirdos are out there. Always trust your instincts and be wary, especially when you're home alone. Not everyone is who they appear to be.
Ouh. Une belle petite histoire. J'avais pas si peur que ça. L'histoire aurait pu se terminer plus tôt si la fille avait pris les choses en main, contacté la police, lire sa Bible. Bref. Mais j'en souviens, il fut un temps où est-ce que j'étais obsédée par ces histoires-là. Je pense que j'avais genre 12 ans. Bref, obsédée par les histoires animées comme ça. Sur ce, bonne nuit, au revoir, à la prochaine, que Dieu vous protège.